Hi everybody, it's Avianna, and today I'll be sharing with you what I learned from each chapter of the book, YouTube Secrets. A lot of you might know the author of this and might know this book and might love it as much as I do. The author is Sean Cannell. If you want to know all the YouTube secrets, go check this out. In chapter 1, I learned how to ignite passion and transcend fear. A quote I liked in this chapter was, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." That was probably one of my favorite chapters. In chapter 2, I learned to start with the end in mind. That means to start knowing your goal and your future. I love this chapter because it really motivated me to start thinking about my goal and then work towards it. In chapter 3, I learned that he used this quote that said, "You never get a second chance at making a first impression." This was very motivating because how I connected to this quote is that you never get a second chance, so make the first one the most powerful and the one that makes the most impact. In chapter 4, I learned to create a lasting impact. Kind of relates to the chapter 3. Create such an impact on people that they remember you as the person who really motivated them and made a huge impact on them. In chapter 5, I learned to interact and engage with your audience. Don't leave them on delivered emails, especially when it's their first time looking at your business. In chapter 6, I learned to monetize your content. In this chapter, I liked a quote that said, "Chase the vision, not the money, and the money will end up following you." In chapter 7, I learned he said, "Hustle your way to success." How I understood this was to keep trying and keep going until you reach your end goal. Chapter 8. In this chapter, I learned to leverage your message and brand. In this chapter, I really liked a quote he included. It said, "Content is fire and social media is gasoline." That's a really cool way to kind of example it out. Chapter 9. In this chapter, I learned to attract your ideal audience on autopilot. A quote that he included in this chapter that I liked was, "The best place to hide a dead body is on page 2 of Google." It might not make sense now, but read the book to find out what it means. Chapter 10. In this chapter, I learned to grow your audience exponentially. That means to grow your audience by doing something they want you to do. And in that way, they'll like it, so they want to follow you, so you do more of that. Chapter 11. In this chapter, I learned to be one step ahead at all times. I like this chapter, and it gave me a lot of motivation to keep going, even in my homework and school, in horse riding, which I love to do in dance, be one step ahead. Because, trust me, it gets you far. Chapter 12. In chapter 12, I learned that teamwork is one of the most important things while doing, basically anything. It's a big part of life and growing your business. In chapter 13, the final chapter, I learned to do things differently, and that if you're doing the same as the others, you're probably doing it wrong. So be unique and do things your way for a change sometimes. Well, that was my book report, and I hope you enjoyed my book report. And if you did, and if you're interested in getting the book, definitely get it, because I definitely recommend it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on book 4. Bye!